Okay, so today is January 18th. It's a Tuesday. And what I've done since the last video is I put 2 coats of the epoxy barrier coat. That's this that you can see here. So basically from this point here all the way down up to the other side. So this will be the boot stripe will be in this area. So basically we've got the barrier coat all the way to the top of the boot stripe. So it's plenty. And then this is 3 coats of the Black Widow bottom paint that I put on here. I did 2 coats, had like a third of a can left. It's like, sure, fine. So I put a 3rd coat on, even though 2 should be plenty. So that's all set. And up here, what I did was I took some clear material. I'll use this Epiphanes clear polyurethane, two-part polyurethane stuff, and I basically just added some graphite that I had from ages back from a deck that I did on a teak deck that I did on a boat 30-something years ago, close to 40 years ago actually. So anyway, so I used a little of this, mixed it into this, so basically blended these 2 together at the right 2-to-1 ratios that they were supposed to be, and then added about 15% of graphite to it, and ended up with this nice black color. I think it looks really good. Yeah, so now what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to let this harden up a little bit more. I don't want to put any tape on it yet, but once this is hardened up a bit more, then I'll tape this out and then start painting the boot stripe. So this will be, I'm going to put a coat of white on here first, just to cover over the black a little bit, so that because I'm going to be using like a purplish, sort of bluish purplish grayish color. This color over here is what I'm going to be using. Pick that up. So for the boot stripe, you can see how that will kind of look there. I think it looks pretty good. If the camera will focus on it. But anyway, yeah. So that's the plan for that. And then I'm going to actually be using this same color up here, but with maybe a bit of a twist to it too, which I'll explain later. So yeah, that's all good. These are the combings. As you can see, the curve of the combing pretty much lines up with the curve of the deck, so that worked out pretty well. Could have maybe put a little bit more pre-bend in it, maybe 2 3/4 inches or something instead of 2 1/2. But it looks really good. Those fit fine. So once I'm done, suspending the boat, from these things, I can put those in place. The other exciting thing I've got is the centerboard is here. So this is a 1/2 inch thick stainless steel centerboard. I'm pretty sure, I gotta weigh it, but I think it weighs about 140 pounds or so. That'd be my guess. So this is all set up. Now I've got some pin locations so I can pin it in place at a certain height. So if I've got the rowing seat that I plan on setting up in here, then if I pin it at this height, then the rowing seat can sit here. This is a pin location for pulling it basically all the way up and locking it in place. This is the lever for pulling it up, and the hinge location there. So once I get done with all of this work on the top sides, because it's easier having it up in the air like this. Once I get all this done, then I'll lower it down, put the centerboard in, do the combings, that sort of thing. So that's pretty much where it's at. The other thing I'm working on is this. Got a piece of cedar here that I'm going to be ripping down to, I think, about a 1/2 inch, maybe 5/8 wide. That I'm going to add along here. So I'm going to stick part of it on the one piece on the side, and then glue another piece, epoxy another piece on top of it to create like a bumper, rub rail and a toe rail combo thing on here. And then that's just going to run about 11 feet from about this area on the boat up to about 2 feet or so from the bow, just to give, because this would be the place where, you know, I might step out on the deck and walk forward, so it gives me a little security there. Plus that's the part of the boat which would most likely get bumped up against the dock. You know, back here, everything in this area I can easily reach from the cockpit space, so I'm not climbing out on this deck probably. So it's just really basically from this point up to there, and I think it'll look actually pretty good. Besides being practical, I think it'll have a nice look to it when it's done. So we'll see how that turns out.